We'll have a look here at the Deferred Exam paper from 2023, and we're focusing on section B, question 2 of that, so question B2. So it tells us the image on the right shows a Lewis tram. The tram uses an overhead cantry system used to deliver electricity through an antenna connected to the tram. So figure B2 shows the plan and elevation of a similar Lewis tram with an antenna, and the pictorial view of the tram is also shown. The antenna is inclined at 35 degrees. So the first thing it wants to do is draw the given plan. Okay, so this is my plan down here. Okay, so it gives me some details there in the plan. It gives me the overall length. It gives me the overall depth of our tram. So it's 165 by 60. Okay, and our elevation then gives our various measurements. And this is our pictorial view. We see the tram. We see our antenna on top. Okay, and a little piece on top of that again to connect it to the electricity. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is draw the plan. So I'm going to draw that there now in the top left hand corner of my sheet, so I'll be up here somewhere. Okay, drawing out my plan, and then we'll go through our steps then as normal. Position our spectator. So our spectator is at 60 degrees from corner A here. Okay, which is not actually a corner on the object, as we can see, it's out in front of the object, but that's fine. So it's at a position of 60 degrees in relation to corner A. And the spectator is at a distance of 120 as well from point A. Okay, so we'll go through there now, doing that and drawing out our plan. Okay, so in my plan here, there is an extra line that's in it. Okay, we can see it here from our drawing. Okay, so I have that line, okay, which will give me the location of this point here, we'll say, in my elevation. Okay, so this line here, so it's basically where that sloped windscreen. Okay, so I just put in my windscreen there. Okay, so this line that's on the top of it is a point in my elevation, and it's that line there on my plan. So I cannot put in that line, okay, without drawing out this portion of my elevation here first. So I can locate the position at this point and then get the distance that it is from the front back, and I can then put that into my plan for the front back and give me that line there. So I'm going to do that over here on the right corner of my page, right top corner. Okay, so you can see there now, I'm going to draw my front piece of my elevation, which is the front piece of the tram, will say. So now I have the distance or the space left until I get to that point, which represents my line here. So from the front back, that distance will give me that point, and that's the distance now that I'm going to set on my compass and just measure it back along and draw it in. So just going to bring that center line, make it easier to measure it back along. Okay, so now when I have all that done, I'm going to come down 60 degrees in my corner A. I'm going to set up my spectator, and I'm going to set up my vanishing points in that then. Okay, so at this stage now I have my picture plane set up. So I got my center line of vision after I got my cone of vision. So my cone of vision was my spectator to my very outside point on the object. I bisected that angle, I got my center line of vision, and my picture plane is always 90 degrees to the center line of vision, and it told us it's touching point A. Okay, and after that, from my spectator, I went parallel to all my lines going in this direction in the object. Okay, so if we look at the question, we have all these lines here on the tram running in that direction, okay, which are running here from left to right. Okay, so that is the direction I go for this vanishing point, and also the ones going up and down, okay, top to bottom is parallel with that one, so that gives me that vanishing point. So that's where they will appear on my picture plane. So now I set up my ground line and my horizon line parallel to my picture plane. Okay, so this stage now I have all my different lines set up. Okay, I have my plan set up, spectator, picture plane, vanishing points, ground line, horizon line. My vanishing points then are dropped down onto my horizon line, and I am putting all my main lines there just in blue, just to distinguish them apart. So the picture plane is in blue in the plan of it. Okay, and obviously this is the elevation, if you like, of my picture plane, which shows my ground line and it shows my horizon line, and it shows those two vanishing points where they appear on the horizon line after I drop them down. So after that, now I'm going to start by bringing down my corner A. So I'm just using my rolling ruler here instead of adjusting my sheet or using an adjustable set square. I'm going to bring down my point A. That's a point on the ground, and it ends up there. So that's my point A in my perspective. And I'm just going to vanish that back to the vanishing point on the right. And I'm also going to vanish it back to the vanishing point on the left. Okay, so along this side now, what I'm going to concentrate on first, okay, is drawing, we'll say, all this portion here of the tram to include that flat side there, the two windows and the door. Okay, so I know the height of this lad here. Okay, we're told in our question it has a height here of 70. Okay, but of course the only place I can mark my true heights is from A up, because A, that line there essentially would be up against the picture plane. So that's the only place I can mark my true heights, and then I can vanish them back. Cuts through the picture plane at the back, I drop it down, and the spectator looks at the front point, and where that cuts through the picture plane, again I drop it down parallel to my centre line of vision. Okay, so I'm going to mark my height there of my, what is it, 70, I'm going to mark the height there of my 70, okay, on that there, and I can vanish that back along there. So that is my true height line, the one from A up. Okay, so that's my height of 70, which is the overall height of my object. Okay, so that true length line, I'm just going to put it in green to distinguish it for the moment. So everything there along that line, okay, that I mark is going to be a true height. So what I want to do now, that's the height of my tram. In this direction, it marks off that side wall there for me. So I can heavy in that bit there now. Okay, now I want to put in the position of my two windows and my door. Okay, so I have just put a point on my plan to show where they line up. So all I need to do, so that's my first window from here to here. My second window is from here to here. My door then occupies the space from here to here. So I'll put in the positions for them first and then mark the heights of them on the true length line and vanishing it back along. So the spectator looks at the edge of the back window. So I'm just going to do all of these in one go. Look at them there, and then I'll drop them down. Okay, so with this guy, so 1, okay, 2, I have 3, and I have 4. So I have the 4 of them there to bring down. So again, line it up my centre line of vision, and where it cuts through the picture plane, we can drop it down. So that's my 1. This is my second one, 2, 3, and that was 4 that I dropped down. So now I'm just going to put in the heights for those there now, so you can see how my drawing tells me the elevation from the floor up, or from the ground up, it's 20 to the bottom line of the windows, and then it's another 40 from there up to the top of all of those. Okay, the door obviously runs down to the ground each time. Okay, so I can just put in the heights for those there now. Okay, so I'm going to mark off my 20. From there again. Okay, so that was my 60, we'll say. That's my 20. And again, I just vanish them back along. See now clearly the location of my first window, my second window, and my door. So you can see them vanishing back along to the correct vanishing point because they're going in that direction. Okay, so that's all the side of that done there. I'm going to take care of the front of it, and then I'm going to look there at the roof detail. Okay, so this little nose piece here in the front, that's what I'm going to sort out first. Okay, so the spectator, so that's already vanished back. It is from corner A along. Okay, we can see that inside the question. Okay, it's on corner A, and I'm going to draw in this little nose, that flat nose at the front of it there now. Okay, so the spectator looks at the nose, already looked at the outside corner, of course. Okay, and then parallel to my central line of vision, I can just drop that down, and I can drop down that guy there. Edge of the nose on the ground. Okay, and I know the height of the nose, I know from elevation, is a height of 20. So I'm going to vanish that back to my vantage point on my right, and fill in that there. And then put in my vertical lines, my nose. Okay, so there's the front of the nose. Now the nose does not join straight from that corner up to that point. Okay, it'd be wrong if I done that. What I need to basically do is I need to locate this line, okay, which is the one we found already. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to extend that line as if it's on the same edge as the top of the wall, and that will allow me to find it in my view. Okay, so nice and simply, I'm just going to get it here in my plan view. I'm going to just extend it there, and that's the point now that I'm going to find. So if that wall was continued, okay, it would intersect there at that point. So the spectator looks at that point, when I cross to my picture plane, same thing again, I just drop it down. That would be it if that wall to extend, and then of course it just vanishes back to the vanishing point on the right, because that's the direction that that line is going for that vanishing point. Okay, so somewhere along that line now is that point. So in order to find it, I just need to look at it. Same thing, spectator looks at it, where it cuts through the picture plane, drop it down. Okay, so it's only a subtle difference there between it, but it is a difference. Okay, vanish it over, locate that point, that's where it stops. So again, the spectator looks at that point, where it cuts through the picture plane, drop it down. So every time I'm just lining up my ruler parallel with my central line of vision. And we can join those up. Okay, so I want to get the point on the other side of the roof there now. So again, it's not dead straight from there back to the back. It does go out a little bit, the same as that line there. So I'm going to locate that there now. Okay, so I want to find this point. Okay, and that will go back to there, not from here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to vanish this first of all, back to the vantage point on the right. That's the direction that the back of it is going. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my back point. So looking at the back point, cut through the picture plane, and again I'm just going to drop that down right there. Okay, and that goes to my vantage point on my left. Okay, so we can see the difference is not actually hidden there. So it's going to be back here somewhere. So where is it? That's it right there. So I need to look at that. So the spectator looks at that point, cuts through the picture plane, just drop it down. It's actually right there on my true height line. That's where it is, ends up. Okay, so there's the majority of the tram done. Okay, of course I have to join this line here at the bottom. Okay, so there's the majority of it done. What I'm missing now is my antenna at the top. What it wants me to do for that, it wants me to use auxiliary vanishing points. Okay, so it tells us the angle there, that's going up at 35 degrees that way and that way. So I'm going to have two auxiliary vanishing points. Okay, one for my line going up here and one then for the area when it turns going that way there. Okay, and of course then we have a line on the top of that which is just going to be parallel to my edges here anyway, so I already have the vanishing point for that. Okay, so I need to deal now with my area going up that way and then change in direction. Okay, so 35 degrees for my auxiliary vanishing point. So I go to my original, so it's along this line. Okay, so I go to my original vanishing point line on that side, we'll say. Okay, I take my protractor and I need to measure 35 degrees up from that. Okay, so 35 degrees, so you can see the arrow there in the end. Just measuring all the way up there, 35 degrees from that there. Okay, let's get down there and mark that off. I'm just going to put this in a bit heavier than I normally would. Okay, I just want you to be able to see it. So that's my 35 degree line. Okay, so that there is 35 degrees, and where my original sight line for the vantage point hit the picture plane, we make an angle of 90 degrees until we intersect our 35 degree line going up. Okay, so on my original one, hit my picture plane. Now, of course I could just use my T-square and set squares for this because it is just going to be a vertical line. Okay, so I need to make that angle there 90 degrees. Here to here, the height for my auxiliary vanishing point. So take this. I set that distance or that height. Okay, and I'm now marking that above my vanishing point here, but I also need to go below it. Okay, so I've gone above it, but I will also need to go below it. Okay, so what I had to do there now is I had to add in an extra bit of paper. Okay, because I need to extend that down now to show where that vanishing point is located. Right there is my auxiliary AUX VP, my auxiliary vanishing point on the bottom, and of course AUX VP, the one for the top. Okay, so I'll just go through that there now. Get my picture back into view. So I'll do the one on the top and then I'll just do the one on the bottom. So I need to find the location that aerial bends up from. Okay, now I know it's from this point, okay, in my object or on my tram. Okay, and that is directly over the door line. So what I'm going to do, so that's my door line going up. I can vanish that back there. Okay, so it's halfway along that line basically. The aerial starts going up this way and then back up that way there. Okay, so in order to find out exactly where it is, I'm just going to look at it here. Spectator looks at it, and then we're going to drop it down again parallel to our center line of vision. Okay, so right there at that point, that's what I'm looking for, and I'm sloping up there toward that auxiliary vanishing point. So it's going up there in that direction. Okay, so how far does that go up? It goes up as far as that there, so I'm just going to look at that. Okay, so spectator again looks at that point. Where it cuts through the picture plane, we can just drop it down. Okay, so I looked at that point, cuts through my picture plane there, so right beside my point 2 actually. And then just going to drop that down. It cuts off just near my horizon line. That's the area going back in that direction, and now we need to put it bending up in that direction there. So that's why I had my auxiliary vanishing point below my horizon line. Okay, because for this one, as I walk towards corner A, this is going up and away from me. So this one was over my horizon line. But this one now, okay, is going down and away from me. So as I walk towards corner A, this line is going to be going down in that direction away from me. Okay, of course, if you put them in wrong, you'd know straight away now. That's my auxiliary vantage point below. Okay, so where does this aerial line stop? Okay, it stops directly above where that was there. Okay, so that point is directly above it. We can see that there in our elevation. Okay, it's directly above that. Drawn in, taking into account the auxiliary vantage point.